Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to all professors, doctors, and fellow medical professionals. Thank you for taking time to join us in this Ovid new video tools for anatomy teaching and learning. Before I carry on, can I just know whether if you can hear me well? Alan?
Yes, I can hear you. That's great.
Right, thank you. I'm Dr. Olivia T, your host for this session, and I'm from iGroup. Thank you, Dr. Hamida. iGroup is a one-stop station for information products and library technologies. Our ability to provide a full spectrum of related products and services with localized support from each of our regional offices establishes us as the key information industry partner in the Asia-Pacific region. Today, we are delighted to have Mr. Alan Finn, who is the Senior Customer Service Technical Specialist from Wolters Kluwer with us. Mr. Alan Finn has been active in Wolters Kluwer for over 20 years, and he creates many of the video and teaching tools and video guides for the Ovid content. Mr. Alan has a keen interest in training using video and interactive content. So today, our webinar is on anatomy resource for teaching and learning. So I'm sure a lot of us who are here today are aware that currently actual cadaveric dissection is becoming more and more difficult. And modern video-based medical education software, such as the ones that we're going to be sharing with everyone today, is actually ideal for anatomy teaching. It offers the experience of discovering the structure of the human body without much risk and in a true human scale. So let us explore these new options in Grant's Dissector, Biodigital Human, Acland, with a lot of interactive video content that will be shown to you shortly by Mr. Alan. So before I pass the floor over to him, I'd just like to encourage all participants to use the raise hand button as you wish to ask a question or type in the Q&A tab, and we will attempt to answer all your questions at the end of the webinar. And also, I'd like to bring to everyone's attention that we have good news to share. So all participants who complete the feedback survey at the end of the Zoom webinar will receive 1 month free access to any of the resources that you choose, which you get to select in the feedback form, for yourself as well as for your entire institution, so that you can have a try out and also review these tools to see whether if they are suitable for your teaching and learning. So without further ado, I will hand the floor over to Mr. Alan.
Okay, thank you, Olivia, and welcome everyone. My name is Alan Finn, and I'm here to take you through our exploration today of some anatomy tools which are available from my company, Ovid and Wolters Kluwer. And what I wanted to do to begin our session today, we have a lot of people who have registered for the session, and thank you very much for your kind attendance in anticipation. But one thing that we wanted to do was to find out a little bit about you and your reasons why you might be interested in finding out about anatomy teaching tools. Is it for your work? Is it for teaching or for some other exploration that you're interested in? So if you have a moment and you wouldn't mind, if you could put maybe 1 or 2 lines into the chat to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in the anatomy teaching tools, and we'd be really interested to find out. And this will help us to guide the webinars and other materials that we may offer later on. So certainly we look forward to reading your interesting explanations. So my job today is to tell you a little bit about video teaching tools, and I have a particular interest in video as a training material. So we're going to be exploring some of these tools that are available to us. Let me take a moment then to switch through to my first destination here. This is a screen that's very familiar to me because I often teach the materials inside the Ovid system. And if you look down on the side of the screen here, you can see one of the ways that we might access the materials that we're going to be looking at today. So you can certainly link from inside of Ovid into the content that we are going to be exploring. We can also create for you jump starts into many of the items and parts of the material that we're going to explore. We are beginning here with Biodigital Human, and this is the desktop version of Biodigital Human. And this could be a tool that would be really ideal, I think, for someone that was beginning their first exploration of human anatomy. It's very easy to use and understand. There are many benefits of using Biodigital Human through a laptop or through a device. And just know that very recently, we have begun to offer Biodigital Human as a virtual reality experience. So this is new for us and new for you as well. So we can find out more about your interests in that area, perhaps a little later on. I've linked into Biodigital Human by following a link from my desktop, and it's very easy to implement. What we can see across this first screen is some of the recently added material into these collections. And this is most definitely a growing resource. Many thousands of individual models and items, animations and videos have been added to Biodigital Human since we have first started representing this company. Today, we're going to be looking first at Biodigital Human and then at Grant's Dissector, which is another collection of materials. And then lastly, a short, brief visit to Acland's Video Atlas of Human Anatomy. So that's our set of materials today. This is where we could begin our exploration, though, on the front screen of Biodigital Human. And what I could do is I could type in the thing that I'm particularly interested in, or I am free to select from the models that I've looked at before, or the ones that have been recently added. So as we search, you can begin to see the sorts of models and materials that are available inside this tool that we see here. We've moved from the front screen, which is here, to explore, where we can explore the different options for looking at anatomy. Imagine that we are stepping back in time and you are a first-year student, and all first-year students need to explore human anatomy and learn about the basics of the human body. And this is a wonderful way of beginning that experience, of being able to open up these individual interactive elements that we can rotate and view from all different angles, where we can add and remove individual content or hide them away if we wish, so that you can see through. They become transparent. So very, very interactive. We can see on this side of the screen the descriptive information, the information and the chapters that are available in this particular item. This is an animation that we're seeing here, showing you the normal beating heart. We can zoom in and out, and we can explore in many different ways. We can also annotate the model if we wish, and we can save it and publish it if we want to, and make it available to others. So I know that many of you are anatomists, and you use these models that you create as teaching tools. And this program is ideal for this purpose because it contains Human Studio, which enables you to change the materials that you find and add notes and add your own particular interest to the content. We're looking at the heart, and we're looking at the conduction system within the heart, and we can view it as a 3D model. So I have not only the motion that is a part of the model itself and the animation, but also the things that I add to it, the way that I view it from many different angles to truly appreciate that this is a three-dimensional object. We can move through the steps and stages to see how this model comes together. We're able to see the beating heart and the way that the valves and the conductive system interact to produce the movement of blood between the body and the lungs. If I had needed to, again, I could have interacted with it. I could have added additional notes and additional models. We are completely free to be able to interact with this material in all different ways. If I go to the beginning of exploration, up here at the top of the page, we can see all of the different items which are in this enormous collection of models and materials. Up at the top, this number continues to grow, and it's over 1,000 results at present. Down through the side of the page here, you're able to see the different ways that we can select into these models. We can look at regional content. We can look at systemic views of the human anatomy. So looking at the different systems that exist, and we're able to select within these lists as well. So I can filter in many different ways. You can look at whole bodies and interact with them in a very strong way. But we can also look at specific parts of the body. We can look at the bones, the origins and insertions, the different connection points for the muscles to the bones, and also a little later on, we're going to be able to look at the microanatomy as well, looking at how the heart, how the kidneys work, the different sorts of models that really explain so much about the human body. And of course, as we open them up, we're able to interact with those individual models and use them as we wish by selecting parts of the model, by adding notes, by adding and removing different sections of the material, you're able to completely interact with this content, zoom in and out, and select and explore as we need to from this screen. Up at the top of this list, we can see regional anatomy and the more specific systemic and other anatomy options. And as a part of many of these early sections, we can also see, as we scroll up and down, there may be animations, there may be tours, which are a series of screens of interactive content. And also, for all of these separate contents, there are also quiz questions. Often it's about identifying a particular muscle or structure, about interacting with the content in some way. And so those quiz questions can be used for really testing whether you have understood the content that you have studied within the models. Below that first section, which deals with normal human anatomy through this area here, we can come to the specialties. And in this way, we're moving away from the way that we interact normally with the body to specific issues and questions that might come up. And we can see the subject areas that are popping up in this specialties area. One of the things that we can see, which is a little unusual in this sort of modeling, is that we can really trace human existence through its whole history and process. We can look at gynecology, we can look at obstetrics, so fertility, development and birth, through to childhood, where we can see a section which is about pediatrics, and onwards from there into adulthood. So really, all of the steps and stages are available within the whole process of human existence, and through the different weeks and months of pregnancy and gestation through to childbirth. If we're moving outside of, again, normal human anatomy, though, we can visit into a specialty subject like cardiology. And as I choose into that subject area, we get to look at the entries, which are the models in that particular area. Imagine that I'm a student with a particular interest in cardiology and the heart. This could be a really good place for me to look. So looking down through this material, we have about 140 different models that are available to us. And this is not just about the heart and the way that it functions. We can look at specialty parts of this material as well. We can look at, obviously, at the anatomy of the heart, but also the heart and disease, not just in health. We can look at how drugs and other pharmacological agents can act on the heart and the blood vessels. We can look at the physiology and also surgical procedures which are available about this particular subject. And we can select the level of detail that's available. Are we looking at it as gross anatomy, as elements of tissue, or at the molecular level? And we can select the sorts of materials that we want. We can look at animations of videos. We can look at tours, which are series of connected screens or features that are a part of this material. So as we scroll down, you can see the sorts of materials that come up within this type of content. So as an example here, we can see atherosclerosis and a model that is to do with that subject. So we're seeing the model here, beginning with the position of the heart within the body and the way that we begin this observation. We can zoom in and see the coronary arteries and the ways that they supply blood to the heart. And if I make selections, we're able to see that particular part of the body. If I need to know more, I can explore by looking at the sections of human anatomy and see how this structure fits in. Scrolling through the chapters, though, what we're beginning to see is the effect of diet and other factors on health, and we're able to see labeled out the things that are going wrong, the damage on the artery wall and the blockages that have been laid, perhaps by cholesterol or other materials, and the restricted blood flow that results from that process, and what we then can begin to do about that process. If I care to follow this through as well, we would be able to find the different sorts of interventions, perhaps, that could be put into place if this was necessary. We could look at stents and how they may be placed into the heart, perhaps as a correction for this particular problem. And so explore the process that is gone through in opening up a particular artery and in the application of the stent to keep the blood vessel open. So you're able to see by looking at these animations and videos, which are a part of this material, the way that it might be used as a teaching tool, not just in normal human anatomy, which we are familiar with, but in these particular specialties. Looking down through the list as well, if we're thinking about orthopedics, if we're thinking about physical therapy, you can think not only about the way that the body is in health and while we are sitting and standing, but also the way that it is when we move our muscles and the way that muscle and bone act on each other. You can see the animation here, and we're able to see the muscle in contraction and the way that it changes color. I can also begin to select the individual parts. I can hear pronunciation guides. If I click further, I can find out more about that muscle and its particular characteristics. So we're able to see through the medium of this set of models the different sorts of content which is here, which adds together to become a vast library of materials that you can select and interact with. As a part of that process as well, I'm sure that you've noticed as we've opened up these materials, the little links and items that are available both at the bottom of the page and also at the top of the screen in this area. If you are an anatomist, or you have been perhaps given a task, perhaps to label or collect some materials together, this is Human Studio. This is the way that you can do that, actually interact with the model in a more permanent way. Certainly, I can add elements by using the menu on this side. But if I want to capture that change, I can use Human Studio for that purpose. This is a way that we can use one or more of these models to gather up to become something that we have made from this material. We can add quiz questions. We can select individual elements and change them should we wish. We can identify and manipulate the material that we see. We can add labels to the content, and we're able to create a model of our choosing from the content that we see. So we can see by looking at the individual interactive elements here, how we might go through the process of taking something or creating something and making it into an original element that we are able to draw on just here. We've captured something, we've added to it, maybe some quiz questions, maybe some other materials. And what we can do with this content then is, once we have captured it, we can then make this new element available. And this is what we do inside of here. We're able to then publish the material that we have created. This area that we see here is the way that we actually create the model that we see in the center of the screen. So if you imagine that someone is able to follow a link or follow a code, and they then see this item that we see in the center of the screen. These are the qualities of this publication that we see just here. How large it is, the way that it loads in an interactive way, whether there are pieces of information around it. So all of that can be customized to give the user a particular type of experience. We may have recolored the materials. We may have added other interactive elements to this model, but this is how we can make it available, by selecting to create a code or by copying a link that we can then paste and add into a web page, a learning management system, or other tool, so that we're able to recreate the model that we see here. We see it, first of all, as it would appear on a desktop or a laptop. We can see as it might appear in a tablet or even on a phone. So we can create materials which are specifically set up for a particular resolution, as we see it here, displayed across the bottom of the screen. So if you are providing materials for students and you want to customize them, this is an ideal possibility. And just know that we are often speaking to Biodigital themselves. And so if you have any requests, any suggestions, they're very glad to hear from you. We've been through then a little bit of an experience of Biodigital Human. Sadly, I can't bring you the virtual reality. That's not possible for me to do through Zoom, but there are some recordings that have been made that enable you to think about the sort of experience which is available. It uses a standard headset and it allows you to interact very strongly with the materials, with the model, which is at human scale. So we can make it as big as a person. We've been through this process then, and we've had a little bit of a look at the experience of Biodigital Human. But what we can know is that this is a computer model. What it does is it allows us to appreciate the structure of the human body, the layers and its constituents. We can look at the way that it works. We can also see the body in disease and the ways that it fails as well within this individual interactive content that we see here. I think that this is a good place to start for people to think about the structure of the human body, the way that it works, but also the body in disease, the way that problems can arise, but also the development of a baby through the various steps and stages of fertility, pregnancy, and childbirth.
Sorry, Alan, may I interrupt? I think we've got
Sure.
a very relevant and interesting question here that I felt
Sure, absolutely.
The Dr. Rashida is asking whether if these materials are compatible with commercial virtual reality headsets.
The specific module, which is the virtual reality material, is the same as the models that you see here, but really available through a different route. So it's through the Meta Oculus system. If you are familiar with that, that is the name of the headset. And certainly I can send further material about that if the doctor is interested in that content. The material that we see here is a little bit different. There is more of it. There are many more models than you can see at the moment in virtual reality, but they have the same qualities. They're interactive and, as I say, very compelling. Is that okay?
Yes, I think so. I'll invite the participants to indicate if they are interested to receive further information on this.
I will send you something through, and you can certainly forward it on.
Will
because
do.
This is definitely a developing area, so something really to watch out for. What I wanted to do now, though, was to take you from looking at a computer model to take you into looking at a real human body. And here we are visiting Grant's Dissection. So many people know and love the Grant's books. They are probably some of the most famous books in human anatomy, and this is one of the sets of materials that's coming out that is associated to those books. This is a set of materials which is provided through our Lippincott Clinical Context platform, which is a very new platform for us, showing us video and other interactive materials. And here we are moving from looking at a computer model to looking at something which is real life, so to speak. So we can really approach that in the same way as we did with Biodigital. We can certainly search within this content. So we could look for videos that contain information about the heart, and we can see, external features of the heart and also the mediastinum, the blood vessels, and other supporting materials which surround the heart. Or we can do this another way. We can actually go through and we can select from the particular regions of the body and explore in that way. So as we look through these materials, know that these are quite powerful videos that we see here of real human dissections. So this is something which is really quite arresting in its content. The numbers that you see here are the lengths of the video, which have been selected really to compress and show you the features that are particularly interesting for this part of the body. So we can interact, we can select and view the different areas of the body, and we can also think about searching within that content as well. Coming back to our interest, though, in the heart and the way that it works that we've been looking at before, if we open up and view one of these particular videos, looking here at this area of the thorax and the supporting blood vessels from the heart, we're able to see the beginning of the way that this content is supplied. I can link into any of these views that you see here. So up at the top of each of these pages, you can see a little element that allows you to copy a link. And then I would be able to put that link into a web page or into a learning management system. By opening up one of these videos, I don't know whether you'll be able to hear it, because yes, you can. You're able to hear the narration of the person who is doing the dissection and see the way that they prepare and the way that they go through this dissection process. So looking through the content as we see it here, what we would be able to do is to move into these individual video elements. You can see from the viewer here that we can add closed captions if we wish. We can open up the view and view it full screen. This is also possible with the links. We can link into a full screen view if we wish. And as a part of the display, there is narration, and you can also individually link to the individual parts of the video. So to jump into a particular section, as is indicated here by the individual numbers that you see. So a very great deal of detail is available within this content, and we're able to quickly move through this material and jump into it as we wish. This is definitely expert dissection that we see here from Dr. Detton and his crew. So looking through the material here, you're able to see how we might use this, perhaps as an addition to an anatomy teaching session. But also, as Dr. Olivia pointed out, there is a great deal of safety implicit in this content as well. We're not exposing people to formaldehyde and fumes. We are really keeping them safe from the chemicals that are often used in body preservation. The experience is something too that you can modify because if we think about the way that we look at this material, we can obviously view it at normal speed, or we can make it slower. And in making it slower, what we can do is we can actually see the great detail of the content. So if you are a student who wants really to focus on the detail of the content, then this is a really good way to be able to do that. We get to open these individual items up. Once we have opened the player, we can run it slow or fast, and we can also alter the quality of the content if that's possible for us, based on our particular network. And if we are looking at it in a very in full screen, in a very detailed view, we probably want those high resolutions anyway. So just know that the way that Grant's dissection is provided seems a very simple way of accessing this content, of very powerful content, and it certainly is. But the way that it may be used may be very varied. As I say, you can link this into many different locations and use it in many different ways. Are there any questions or comments about Grant's dissection or Lippincott clinical content? No. We are also using this for this particular platform to provide some teaching tools that are about medical procedures as well. So Lippincott clinical content, I think as a platform, will be more widely used in the future. In the absence of any questions, I have one more product to show. We've explored the possibilities of computer models. We've moved from computer models to real life, looking at Grant's dissection. And I have one third place to visit. And this is Acland's video atlas of human anatomy. This is using Silverchair. This is a slightly different platform, but again, it is very powerful video material. So just like the videos and animations in Biodigital and then in grants, this has the quality of allowing students really to see something in motion and something which is to some extent interactive. The way that Acland's is organized is into sections, so volumes and chapters, and we can see the volumes here that represent the particular parts of the body. And so looking at the volume which is representing the head and neck, for example, you can see the things which are inside it. Looking at the internal organs, because we had a particular interest in the thorax and the heart, this is where we can see some of these individual features. And what we can know about Acland's Video Atlas of Human Anatomy, as we see it here, is that this was a project by Dr. Robert Acland. He is a famous anatomist in the University of Louisville, and this was one of his very special projects to capture these videos of the body in a variety of different ways. So the bodies that were used in this project, and there were several, were lightly preserved. So certainly not showing the changes of color that we see in grants, and retaining much of the flexibility of the body itself. So if we look at the extremities, for example, the upper and lower extremities, we can actually see movement that is produced by the action of muscle on a joint. But here we are in the thorax and the internal organs, and we're able to look at the videos that are about the heart and the way that it works. And as a part of these materials, we can actually see videos of the way that the way that we can see the individual heart valves moving in response to gases, in this case, which are used to show potentially the flow of blood. So this is really a source of very different sorts of video experiences. We have the expert narration of Dr. Acland. We have the incredibly detailed videos that we get from this collection, looking at the internal structures within the heart, but also in something like the ear. So we have, in this area here, videos of the inside of the ear made with a tiny camera, looking at the individual structures within the ear and the way that those bones interact with the membranes to produce hearing. So in the way that we are hearing here at the moment. So looking at the sorts of content that we see, each of these is narrated. Each of these is available with a transcript. You can see that at the top of the page. This is Dr. Acland himself. Sadly, he is no longer with us. And what we are able to do is we are able to jump to each of these chapters, or we can also move to particular subjects that we can see on the screen. So by selecting we can move to that particular part and use it as a part of a learning management system, as a part of a web page, as a part of written materials. It's really up to you. The videos here are very special. We do see video as part of anatomy products a little bit, but this is really very extensive. Many hours of video are available here. And each minute of these videos took many hours to create. As a part of this material, we also gain access to some self-examination quiz questions, so we can go through and test whether we really have understood what we have learned within these videos. And it doesn't just allow us to answer the questions, it also will give us correction. So if we choose, it will allow us really to see the correct answer and be able to review our results at the end of the page. So we can do that. And we're able to see here at the bottom of the screen that I can actually then leap back if I need to and find the right answer and look at the section of video that covers that particular question. There's a glossary which tells us about pronunciation. There is an A to Z where we can look at individual subjects and where they occur within the videos, and we can also search. All of this material can also be linked into other content. And the way that you can do that, if we look here on the About slide, is by using the URLs that we see here and here at the bottom of this last screen. The About section gives you some information about the project. It gives you quite an extensive guide to each of the volumes and sections and the sorts of things that you can find out. And it lets you link into the content as well, as you saw at the bottom of the page. Okay, so from me, are there any questions or comments about what we've seen today? Anything that you would like to ask?
Yes, Alan, I think because they are not able to, I need to allow them to, or unmute them to allow them to speak. So we have got a comment in the Q&A tab. We have been using Acland videos for 15 years at Monash, Malaysia.
Okay, excellent.
They highly recommend them. Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
The other question is, since that we are offering a 1-month free trial for everyone who is attending today and answers the feedback, the question is, will they have access to Aclands and grants with the application as well? Do you know, Alan?
Yes, I think so, yes.
So when we grant the free access for a month, it will include both the web access as well as the application, the mobile app.
I don't know about the app, but certainly the web application is included. Yeah.
Dr. Mahir, I need to check for you with regards to the app because often it comes as a separate thing. So
it is.
You will get the full.
set.
Yes. Yeah, so but you will definitely get the access to the web version of all the three as you indicate, because after the webinar you will be asked to fill in a feedback form, and in that feedback form I've asked everyone to indicate which product you would like to have access. Then we will get back to you with those relevant products.
Cool.
Any other questions from anyone? There's another. Oh no, we've answered that.
I hope that we have explored to your satisfaction the way that video can be used really to find out more and explore human anatomy. And I think, you know, I really recommend it as a method. I think that it's very compelling and it really matches the way that we think of the human body as a three-dimensional structure. So yes, thank you for your attention. Okay.
No other questions. I think I would like to thank everyone again for attending.
Okay.
And there's one more comment from Dr. Maher.
Sure.
I have seen other apps like 3D for anatomy and visible body.
Yes.
What does this particular app add more? I mean, what are the additional value of what we have, I suppose, just introduced over
Certainly.
the other resources?
Okay, if I can summarize for you, my experience of visible body is not recent, I have to say, but my experience of Biodigital Human is recent. I just showed it to you. And Biodigital Human is, it seems to me, a much broader set of subject content. From my memory, I don't think that gynecology and obstetrics and those sorts of human development subjects were included as a part of visible body. There are also some parts of Biodigital Human, I think, that are also not a part of visible body. So subjects such as physiotherapy are not part of visible body, and the pediatrics part is also, I think, fairly unique to our content. So think about the subjects which are additional. Also, one thing that always stood out for me is that for a lot of anatomy teaching tools, they focus very well on the detail of normal human anatomy, and they deal hardly at all with diseases and hardly at all with treatments such as surgery or pharmaceutical treatments. So those are definitely differences if we're looking across these different sets of materials. So really a way that you can see something which is different in these products. I would have said that Acland is unique. It is a unique set of content, which certainly took a long time to create, and a great deal of skill and attention to detail. Again, Grant's is expert dissection. This is dissection by someone who is really a renowned expert in their field. So certainly these are videos and samples which are of their time. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Alan. Dr. Maher says thank you, Alan.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So I'm aware of the time. I'd like to thank everyone again. Please take a couple of minutes to fill in the feedback. And according to your answers, we will get back to you. And thank you again. I hope you find this useful.
Awesome.
Goodbye, everyone.
Okay.
Until the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.